Welcome to the lesson IRS. The Avro RJ is fitted with two separate inertial reference systems. The heart of each system is formed by the Inertial Reference Unit, IRU, which derives data from laser gyros and accelerometers. Each IRU, located in the electrics compartment below the flight deck, has a cooling fan to prevent overheating. The two IRS support the following displays and systems: two PFDs and the weather radar with attitude data, two NDs and two DBIs with heading data, two GNLUs with position data, the flight guidance system, FGS, the EGPWS, the flight data recorder, and the TCAS system. Control of both IRSs is via a dual mode selector panel, MSP, a true magnetic heading transfer switch, an attitude heading transfer switch, an IRS fan failure indication, and an amber central warning panel IRS DC backup caption. The primary power supply for IRS-1 is via the essential AC bus, and in case of failure of this bus bar, the IRS-1 is powered from its DC backup, Battery 1 bus bar. IRS-2 primary power supply is from AC bus 2, and in case of failure of this bus bar, IRS-2 is powered from essential DC bus. Be aware that electrical power is not routed through the avionics master switches. Both IRSs are supplied directly from their respective bus bars. Control of the two IRSs is via a dual-mode control panel, MCP, located above the first officer's audio selector panel. The MCP consists of two selector knobs and two amber nav-off annunciators, one for each system. There are four modes of IRS operation: the off mode, the align mode with its down mode align, the navigation mode, and the attitude mode. Once off is selected, the system enters a 30 seconds power off mode, after which electrical power may be removed. No data output is provided in off mode, and the amber nav off caption illuminates above the selector switch at the dual MCP. The last position is stored in a non-volatile memory to accelerate subsequent alignment. Note that the cooling fan operates in any other mode than off. The align mode is entered when selecting align from off or when selecting nav from off. The down mode align is entered when selecting align from nav with the IRS previously aligned in nav mode. Alignment takes between 2 and 15 minutes, depending on latitude. The down mode align is much faster, but not as accurate, and takes about 30 seconds. When alignment is completed with the selector at nav, the IRS automatically enters the navigation mode and the amber nav-off annunciators will extinguish. When alignment is completed without position entrance in one of the MCDUs, the amber nav-off annunciator will start to flash. As you have just learned, the nav mode will be entered automatically after completion of alignment with the IRS mode selector at nav. The nav mode can also be entered manually after alignment by moving the selector knob from align to nav. Now, the IRS supplies, among other systems, attitude data to its PFD, heading data to its ND and DBI, and position data to the GNLUs as a secondary source. In the nav mode, IRS-1 normally supplies PFD-1, ND-1, and DBI-2 with attitude and heading data. IRS-2 supplies PFD-2, ND-2, and DBI-1. This makes it easy for each pilot to cross-check the heading data of both IRSs. Position data from each IRS is sent to both GNLUs as secondary navigational source within the FMCs. In the attitude mode, the respective IRS outputs attitude data to its PFD only. Heading data is not generated, and so the red heading flag in the onside ND and the cross-side DBI is posted. The guarded heading transfer switch is located below the captain's ND and allows the pilot to change the heading reference for both DBIs and NDs. In the guarded position, the heading reference is magnetic. After lifting the cover, the switch can be set to true, which is confirmed in both NDs at the top by a white true legend. If the cover is reset to its guarded position, magnetic is automatically selected. Heading source should be set to true only in certain geographical areas or at very high latitudes, which is laid down in your operator's policy. After the aircraft bus bars have been powered, initial alignment can be started. The mode selector knobs for both IRSs are set from off to align or to nav. The latter is standard operating procedure. Check that the amber nav off annunciators are on and note that no navigational data is displayed, neither on the EFIS nor on the DBIs. In the next step, the present position has to be entered into both GNLU 910 via one of the two MCDUs on the position initialization page. It is important to note that the aircraft has to be stationary during the whole alignment process. If the aircraft is moved, alignment will be stopped automatically. The rest of the alignment process, which takes between 2 and 15 minutes, is fully automatic. Remaining time to navigation, TTN, can be checked via a MCDU. When alignment is completed, the amber nav off annunciators go out and the attitude and heading data is displayed on the EFIS screens and in the DBIs. Both IRS positions are now displayed on the MCDU at the position reference page. From now on, the system is ready to navigate and the aircraft may be moved. This submode is used during turnaround or after very long taxi times or distances when the position error is greater than 1 nautical mile or as specified in your operator's manual. First, check the position error on the MCDU at the position reference page by comparing IRS position 1 and 2 to the valid GPS position or to your parking position coordinates. Note that the maximum allowed drift rate of an IRS is 2 nautical miles per hour. If realignment is required, set the relevant IRS mode selector knob from nav to align and enter the correct position on the MCDU at the position initialization page. After that, reset the selector knob of the relevant IRS to nav. Time to navigation is quite short, with about 30 seconds compared to initial alignment. Before removing electrical power from the aircraft, set both IRS mode selector knobs to off. The power off mode takes 30 seconds, and after that, the bus bars may be depowered. When one IRS fails, its amber nav-off annunciator comes on and the on-side EFIS displays show red flags due to attitude and heading data loss with the navigational information removed. Also, the cross-side DBI loses its heading reference accompanied by the red heading flag. The attitude and heading information on the EFIS can be restored. First, the guard on attitude heading transfer switch below the captain's ND has to be lifted. The switch can be set now to the serviceable side, in our example to both 2, as IRS-1 has failed. Navigational data from the remaining operating IRS is now displayed on all 4 EFIS screens. Each pilot is reminded of this redundancy loss by yellow attitude 1 or 2 legends in both PFDs and yellow heading 1 or 2 legends in both NDs, depending on the operating IRS. Here, IRS-2. It is important to know that the heading data from the operational IRS cannot be transferred to the DBI supported by the failed IRS. In case of a dual IRS failure, all 4 EFIS displays are blanked out and the 2 amber nav-off annunciators on the MCP are lit. In both PFDs, the red ATT flags are visible, and in both NDs, the red HDG flags are shown as well as the 2 DBIs. Attitude information is now only available on the standby horizon and heading information from the standby compass. It may be possible to regain attitude information from any IRS by selection of the attitude mode. The following procedure is applicable. Fly wings level and 0 pitch. Set the relevant IRS mode selector to attitude. Maintain the taken attitude for at least 20 seconds. If the relevant IRS enters the attitude mode, the red ATT flag is removed from the appropriate PFD and attitude information is displayed again. Each IRU has its own cooling fan, which prevents the respective IRU from overheating. The fan normally comes on when the IRU is powered and any mode other than off mode is selected. In case of failure of a fan, an amber IRS-1 or IRS-2 cooling fail annunciator is illuminated below the first officer's ND. There is no in-flight action possible as the IRS fans are not resettable, in contrast to EFIS fans. Overheat and subsequent failure of the respective IRU may occur. Normally, each IRS has a primary AC supply and a secondary backup, DC supply, which assures continued operation in case of a busbar failure. When electrical power is reduced to the essential level, you still have 2 IRS available. IRS-1 with its primary, essential AC power supply and its DC backup from the battery busbar. IRS-2 has lost its primary supply but continues to run on the DC backup, essential DC. When power is reduced to the emergency power level, IRS-2 fails, as its primary,